Hi, I'm Jim Jubak, and welcome to my quick pick video of the week. Quick pick this week is Albemarle. They're a big producer of lithium. Okay, lithium we know is something that all current generation of electric cars and rechargeables all need. So it's a big, huge boom. Production is not keeping up with at least the trend line going on demand, so lithium prices have been going up until April. There are two big lithium producers that got killed on April 22nd. This is SQM, which is a Chilean Sociedad Quimica y Minera de Chile. Excuse my Spanish, but you notice that this fell off a cliff on the 22nd. What happened on the 22nd was that Chilean President Gabriel Boric announced a plan to partially nationalize the country's lithium resources. Chile has big brine ponds in the Atacama Desert, which produce lithium at very low costs. The ponds themselves are owned by the national government, but they sign long-term leases. And what Boric was proposing is that they would partially nationalize the two big companies that are producing lithium from this, which is SQM and Albemarle, and the Chilean government would take a majority stake. But, and this is what's really interesting, he also said that the country would honor existing leases. Really no one paid much attention to that part of it because it's really hard to figure out. This, we go, oh, political risk. So let's dump these. So they would honor expiring leases, and SQM's leases expire in 2030. So that's a relatively short period. Albemarle's leases expire in 2043, a longer period. So, but for these companies and for investors in them, there was a big question. Should the companies go ahead and strike some kind of deal now, which would enable them to get those leases, which don't expire yet, renewed in exchange for majority stake to the Chilean government, or should they basically just wait? Now, one of the interesting things about this is that Chile is in the process of rewriting its Pinochet-era constitution, and they recently held an election for the body that will rewrite this constitution of the dictatorship. And Boric, who's sort of center-left, his parties and his supporters didn't win a majority. In fact, the right and the far right won 22 out of 50 seats in this body that's going to rewrite the constitution. And that's important because one of the things to realize is that, well, Boric can propose this. Has not gone through the legislature. He can't do it unilaterally. And the question is, whether it will go through, whether it will go through before the next election. Chilean politics right now are very, very volatile. So add on to the uncertainty of what these companies should do, you've got the question of what's really going to happen. Is there anything that's going to happen down there or not? So let's look at a chart for Albemarle too, because that's the one I'm more interested in. Okay, you notice they fell off, not as big a cliff because they've been really down since here being February. And so we're starting to see a little pickup here. SQM and Albemarle are similar but not identical. SQM gets about 3/4 of its revenue from lithium, and almost all that comes from Chile. Albemarle gets about 68% of its revenue from lithium, but only 30% of that is from Chile. So they've got a lot more diversification in Australia and the US. And as I said, they've got their leases run until 2043 as opposed to 2030. So less risk here, more upside. I think this huge price decline from where we were back in February at 285 down to a low of 172. That's 90 $110. What's that? Half. This looks like, to me, a pretty good entry if you're willing to take the political risk, follow the ins and outs of Chilean politics. I don't think that Boric will manage to get this through the legislature. I think this is likely to be a much more conservative trend in Chilean politics, and nationalizing a big resource like this may not fit the right-wing agenda. So I think your risk here is probably already priced in on that. And as I say, Chile is only about 30% of Albemarle's lithium revenue, and they've got big, really interesting mine projects in Australia and the United States, where they mine it from hard rock as opposed to brine, which produces initially a larger cost, but then you don't have to do as many refining steps. So it looks like some of those resources are going to be very low cost as well. This is one that I'd be looking for to add to a long-term portfolio in this weakness, because I think lithium will be the battery material of choice, at least for another 5, 6, 7 years, because we've got other alternatives out there ranging from sodium to iron. But right now, lithium is the name of the game, and I think you ought to own one of these producers. Thanks for watching. If you'll enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you get notification when we do the next couple. We're doing 3 a week, and we don't always do them on the same day. You can also get more of my free stuff at jubakpicks.com. It's got 3 portfolios, including a long-term portfolio that includes Albemarle. Or you can go to my paid site, that's jubakam.com. That's got also a long-term portfolio with Albemarle in it, and also some options and ETFs, and 6 portfolios instead of 3. Thanks very much for watching. You'll find links to those down below.